137 and 138, we talk about rounding. And rounding isn't a new skill, it's just one we haven't done this year. And a new symbol that they introduce is this one. And it means about. It's like a wavy equal sign. So it means about, estimate, close to, near. So when we are looking at this screw right here, and it says it's 74 hundredths centimeter, and wants to know what is it to the nearest tenth. And they draw us a beautiful number line here of 7/10 to 8/10. And right here is 0.75. And anything in this blue zone, and we're going to round up to that 0.8. But anything in this green zone, we're going to round to that 0.7. So I put at the top of the page, round up if it's 0 through 4, round down if it's, I said that wrong, round up if it's 0 through, again, at the top of the page, I put up a reminder for you. 0 through 4, round down. 5 through 9, round up. So be aware that when we're looking at the number they want us to round to, they say round to the 10th, so we're going to look at the number next to it, and that tells us to round up or down. So because this 4 is 0 through 4, we're going to round down to that nearest tenth, which would be 7/10. And I forgot to tell you, we're only doing evens. So let's take a look and try to round these to the nearest dollar. And here's where that new about sign comes in. Round to the nearest dollar or to the nearest one. So we're looking to the nearest whole number. So this is what I'm looking to. This is what I have to round. So I know that that's 5 through 9. So I'm going to round this number up. So that would be $7. And everything else changes to zeros. This 9.2, this is what I'm rounding. So I look here, that's between 0 and 4. So this rounds down to 9.0. Number 7, 17 and 54 hundredths. I'm rounding to the nearest one. So I'm looking here. So this tells me 5 through 9 I have to round up. So this is going to change to an 8. The 1 stays the same, 8. Everything else becomes zeros. Now, 9 through 16, they want you to round to the nearest tenth. So that means we're going to be looking at the hundredths place. So here's my hundredth, because I'm rounding this. That's between 0 and 4, so I'm going to round it down. So it's going to be 9/10 or 90 hundredths. Same thing. 13, they add in some extra numbers. Don't worry. We're still rounding to the nearest tenth. And so I'm looking here at the hundredths. That's 5 through 9, so I'm rounding up. So the 7 stays the same. I said I was rounding up, so this changes to a 4 and everything else to zeros. Number 17 and 18, they want you to plot it on the number line. So here's 51, 2, 3, 4, here's that 5, and 56 hundredths. I can know that because it lands 55 or more, it's closer to 6/10. So I'm going to write 0.6. Number 19 and 20, they want you to do some rounding for them. So this gondola takes 6.7 minutes. So I know that 6.7 7 is about 7 whole. And then it takes 12.2, or sorry, 12.8, and I know that's about 13 because these numbers are more than 5 I'm rounding up. And then I just add. So it's going to take about 20. And remember that about is your friend. Makes math easier. On page 138, we're doing the same thing, but we're just going further into the decimal world of hundreds and thousands. This one they tell you to put a check mark above the one that you're going to be rounding. And so that way you can look at the number next to it. And if it's less than 5, the number stays the same. And if it's more than 5, it increases. So we already know how to do to the nearest one. We know how to do to the nearest tenth. But let's talk about to the nearest hundredth. And again, you're only doing evens. So if I'm looking at number 9, I'm rounding to this number right here. I'm rounding that one. So 0.5 stays the same. And because 7 is more than 5, the 1/10, or the 1/100th rounds up to 2. And I could leave it that way, or I could add the 0. Let's do number 11 together. Again, I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth, so I have to look at that 5. So 5.8 stays the same. I'm not changing that. But because that 5 is more, it's 5 through 9, I'm going to round the 4 up to a 5. And I could add the 0. Number 13 through 16, they want you to round to the nearest thousands. So we have tens, tenths, hundredths, thousands. So this is the one I'm rounding to. This 6 is more than 5, so that means that 4 changes. So 0.21 stays the same. The 6 is more than 5, so 4 changes to a 5, and I can add the 0. Go ahead and try the evens out on those. And then number 18, they just want you to round to the nearest hundredth. So give that a try.